And welcome to News Now. New and noteworthy, Justin Gould, Ryan Hedrick, Matt Hummel, and Dakota is here somewhere, I think. Mm-hmm. Dakota, you're here too, right, buddy? You're over here. Hey, there's D.
Hey, D.
Hi, Dakota.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
We hear you.
Weird that I'm eating on set?
No. So, did you guys know? I don't know if the world knows, but the Chew had their last episode last week.
Really?
On Friday.
Why?
I went
How does
home
that not
for
surprise
lunch.
me?
Did you know that?
I don't watch that stuff.
Okay, well, anyways, the Chew had their last.
If I can be honest, how does that
The
not
Chew
surprise
had
me?
their last episode. It was like 8 seasons or something, and they're still doing reruns this summer. But pretty much they're done. So we could replace the Chew.
Who is the Chew?
It's like a lunchtime eating show. They do it at noon or something, and they did it.
Where?
On ABC, I guess.
Okay.
It's for those housewives
What
that
is
stay
ABC?
home all day. I think 7 ABC.
It stands for Anxious Rats in Custody.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them today, right?
Right. Oh
Plenty
gosh.
of
You guys see
Wow.
on Facebook this morning, JPD did a ton of raids. That's at least what Facebook says. We don't know that to be 100% true yet. But today, this afternoon, according to our friends over at the Post Journal, even though they weren't supposed to print this, I don't know why they decided to do this, but they report that JPD and the FBI and the DEA and
The
New York
ATF.
State Police and a bunch of federal acronyms, because you all know that the
Postal
feds are good.
inspectors.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
Postal
big name
inspectors.
too.
The USIPS or the PSI, whatever.
They're all having a press conference at 1 o'clock, in case you didn't know out there on Facebook World.
And now that it's out there.
Yeah, well, the Post Journal reported it, even though they were supposed to keep it quiet.
And we all know that they adhere to the ethics of good journalism
Well,
all the time.
Right.
Actually, it's not their fault. I'll be
No.
honest with you. It's not actually their fault. This is like an industry thing, but when a PIO, which stands for Press Information Officer, releases a news release or a press release or an informational piece, usually if they don't want it aired or written, they will say for planning purposes
Right.
only.
It didn't say that.
That's why I hate eating right before I go on the air, because I get the hiccups. Anyway,
I told you could eat. This is the Chew.
this must be
2.0.
so weird. Like, people must be going, are you serious? This is news now. This is news now. We are in
Hey, Cindy.
a full-fledged identity crisis.
We are. So we don't know what to do because no one is engaging like we want. So we really liked, I don't know if you remember here on Facebook Live, but Ryan and I did something called New and Noteworthy. Mm-hmm. And it was basically, like, we did news stories in the beginning. And then we came on and we talked. And we engaged with people in the comment section. I gave those to Matt, not to you.
Well, switcheroo.
You give him an empty... Anyways, so we're going to be doing more discussions with whoever we want. So if you have something to say, you can comment and I can read it. Or you can call us eventually. That'd be kind of cool if we could bring people on.
Call me. You know what I'd like to
You
do?
want
I'd like
Ryan's
to
cell
hire-
number?
Yeah. It's 7000000. Gary Mooney, I hear you. Man, I'm
Right.
spitting all
We
over.
could bring all sorts of people on.
Gary Mooney, I hear you. The tip that you have is
Important to us.
It's very important. It's almost like finding the parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, in terms of I did want to bring this up earlier,
Yeah,
since
go
we're
ahead,
talking
Matt.
about the
We'll
press
just
conference
cut to you.
at 1 o'clock.
Is there really a press conference?
There is a press conference.
Okay.
And I was told by Chief Harry Snellings that there were a couple of raids this morning, and just to wait to the press conference. So we didn't confirm this, but it does appear as though the stuff this morning will be talked about at the press conference.
You know, let's talk about how scary it must be for, anybody to be sleeping, especially a kid.
Right.
Here's a very real threat to our community is the sanctity of kids, right? So say you were like that man that was identified in like a 6 a.m. message. I'm not going to say his name. Say he has kids, right? And say the door comes down on top of a tricycle, at 6 a.m.
Right.
How scary do you think that is for
Right.
children?
And that's difficult because, like, the cops have to raid places, right? To
Right.
get drugs and illegal things, and who knows? I'm sure there's a laundry list of things you could be raided for, right? I mean, if they have a search warrant, it's a raid, right?
So the no-knock warrant. It's a felony warrant. They don't have to knock. Boom,
Right.
boom, close the door.
Right. They
Bye-bye.
use flashbangs if they think you got guns and stuff or whatever. I mean, who knows what you're doing? If the police are investigating you on any level, you're probably not an upstanding citizen, right? So you think of, but then these people have children who become victims of their situation. They are victimized not by the police, not necessarily by their parents, 'cause I'm sure they love them,
Right.
but by the situation that only God knows why they're there. And this is not just a Jamestown problem. This is a problem that's happening all across the world.
Sure.
You can even take it bigger to like Syria and things that people don't even understand.
Yeah.
People in this city, sometimes when we talk about that, you know, they're like, well, what can we do? Right? You can't do anything about the
We
Middle
can't do
East.
anything.
But you can do stuff about your neighborhoods.
One of the things that's lost in translation about Puerto Rico, right? Puerto Rico in the 1970s had just a really, really big addiction crisis hit the island en masse. And with that came inevitable fallouts of, what camera am I looking at? 2, 3,
It doesn't
4?
matter.
Can I look over here and just talk to the wall? Anyway, and with that came inevitable fallout of like the family structure as a whole, the core of the family. So when people criticize Puerto Ricans for being over here and the families for perpetuating addiction and stuff like that, I don't think it's necessarily fair that we just target one race. And people may say, oh, Ryan, what are you doing? You're going soft now. Well, that's not the case, because for years and years and years, Jamestown has been this, for all intents and purposes, a predominantly white community, right? So now we see a rise in Hispanics, a significant rise in the North County, and then a subtle rise in the South County. And we're like, oh, they're bringing in all the drugs, and who knows who's bringing in what. But I must tell you that addiction doesn't discriminate, A, and then B, you can never account for who is addicted and who is going to get addicted, because there are some really good people that didn't intend to be addicted, and now they're addicted, and now you think they're like a leech or just a drain on the community, when you know they may be suffering with something subtly, and somebody may be suffering with something outwardly. I mean, it's not just the Puerto Ricans, is what I'm trying to say. You know, why else would the CDC change the demographic of who's dying from heroin? It used to be the black male, the older black male. Now it's the white male, 18 to 25.
And that's a lot of these drugs don't discriminate.
Right, they don't.
So it'll be very interesting to see what happens today.
There are doctors, there are lawyers, there are judges in Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous the world over.
Right.
There are, and there will be forever.
When we come back, we're hearing from you. Let us know what you think. Heck, call us if you want. I'll give you Ryan's cell after this. Turn to Brotherhood Property Maintenance for all your lawn care and landscaping needs. Serving both commercial and residential lots. Check out Jamestown's fastest growing landscaping crew on Facebook or call us now to book an appointment.
Brought to you by the people giving hope at Gifts Decor and More. With the controversial kratom, Gifts Decor and More is giving hope to Southern Chautauqua County residents, one visit at a time.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view. And welcome back to New and Noteworthy. Justin Gould and Ryan Hedrick. Matt Hummel on deck as well. Dee's going to have his forecast come up in a little bit. But Ryan, a very interesting conversation as we kind of kick off the new formatting here on News Now. What is news?
What is news? I mean, anything can be news, right? I often tell the guys, and the guys remind me, that news isn't created or even started in the newsroom, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of what the community has criticized us and been praiseful of us for is like our nose for news.
Right.
So I would ask you out there, like, give us your definition of news, because we seriously are trying to be different. And it's a tumultuous struggle, because you have a certain segment of the population that likes news the way they like it. They'd rather watch Channel 2 or 4, read the Buffalo News, and get the news in conventional ways.
Right.
There's another side of the population, and I read a comment, and I read comments, but I don't always react to them. Sometimes I digest them before I react, and sometimes it's weeks after. But this one guy said that Jamestown media is really sleeping these days when it came to the high school situation. And I got really mad, because I thought, is that us?
Right. We're not sleeping. We were very much all over that story.
Yes.
And by all over, I guess we should explain, because that's a different definition than everybody else, right?
Right.
Because for me, the way that I do news is it's like, all right, and I know Matt and we kind of all think the same way because we work in the same newsroom. Those are my damn pretzels. But you get a tip from somebody in the community, right? You have to get a source, whether it be yourself being there to witness something, or Snellings to talk about it, or Sam Teresi or George Burrell, these newsmakers that we consider. But really, it's so interesting, because now with Facebook Live and other forms of technology, anybody's a newsmaker.
Right.
Almost the formality has gone out the window. And Rosella says, so good to see New and Noteworthy miss it. Oh, thank you, Rosella. We love it.
It's a different New
right,
Noteworthy.
different New and Noteworthy.
Pretzel.
There's going to be food because it's lunchtime. It's what we're going to do.
Why not?
Why not?
On Friday?
We should order in every Friday. That's a good. Do you want to do that, Matt?
Sure. And you know what?
JB Liquors.
Right. Yeah.
The food brings up something too. I've noticed a lot of people view us as not human sometimes. Like we're on a different level, but we're just like anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Do you know how much it bothered Justin about a year and some change ago to go to Scioto Street and deal with that infant story? Like, it really bothered him, but on a certain level, the people that were reacting to him being there were so in the moment, they just didn't want to hear anything else. They didn't want to hear that Justin wasn't there to perpetuate the situation or make it worse.
Right.
They just wanted Justin out of their neighborhood, and they saw him as the enemy.
Right, and whenever I cover a story, and specifically on Scioto Street, right, I try to relate to people. Mm-hmm. I try to come to the level of whatever I'm covering. Whether it's the level of the police, or the person who just lost their home, or these, like last night, I didn't have power at my house for a while because of this amazing storm we had. And, you think about it, was I frustrated? Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, well, let's come to the level of these BPU workers who are going to stay out until 2 a.m. to fix my electricity, and they did do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm very thankful for that. Thank you to the BPU, great work by them and National Grid. And the Scioto Street situation, you had this family who was very upset, rightfully so. An infant just died. I was emotional. I mean, this is a horrible story.
To think about,
Right. And it had to be covered. It's my job. Mm-hmm. Police were investigating whether or not there would be foul play. It looks like there wasn't any. Thank God. Mm-hmm. Who would do that? It's horrible. But at the same time, me being there, the family came down and they confronted me. They asked why I was in their neighborhood. I explained to them I'm doing my job as a journalist, and I'm going to respectfully stay a good distance from the scene. I mean, you're a grieving family. I'm not going to come stick a mic in your face. They came to me. Then I tried to interview them, and talk to them, and that's going to happen. And, you're going to have great stories and you're going to have horrible stories. And a journalist's job is not to judge the quality of the story, but rather the context.
I'd like to ask the viewers out there, if you have like if you have a video submission from like your granddaughter or your kid like graduating school or planning plans or like correcting their wave, because I know when my son was born, he used to wave like this. Now, obviously, you wave like that.
Right.
Seriously, because he was just learning his hands. All that stuff is news. The discovery, anything that impacts, affects us, intent versus impact. if you have a video out there, no matter how dumb you think it is or small or trivial you think it is, send it to us, because I'd like to start getting feedback from the community in terms of what they think news is. I really want to incorporate the community, because I think in order for us to grow and get over the hump of, the status quo, which I hate, and I hate being stuck, I think maybe the viewers out there can be instrumental in sharing their life stories with us, because everything that happens in your life is news, whether it shows up on 2-4, WNY News Now, the Post Journal, or whatnot.
Right. And everyone has life, right? Mm-hmm. Good, bad, ugly.
And if it changes or affects the way or alters what you do on a day-to-day basis, it is subject to be categorized as news.
Right.
Bottom line.
One thing that I really love, and you guys are going to laugh at me, and they probably, you know what I'm talking about as soon as I say it, but the releases we get from Jamestown Public Schools, I love doing. Because these kids need recognition. It was always nice to have your photo in the paper, right? It was always nice to, see yourself on the news, right? I did Faulkner School, right? Matt and I are proud alumni of that. I went back and I did an interview for their musical this year, and it was nice to interview these kids. Are they on Broadway? No. Am I able to go to every musical in the county? No. But it's nice to go to different places and to talk to different people, and it could on a variety of topics. So I think that would be great.
I think this is really cool. I think it's going to take a lot of open-mindedness for us to kind of reach out to see exactly what... I'd like to put my finger on the pulse of the community. Maybe not every time, but I think a lot of stories in Albany and stuff, they get buried, but if we make a more concentrated effort to bring news into your homes and shape it around the way you live and tie it directly to what's affecting you, what's bothering you, what's making you smile, what's making you cry, what's making you feel indifferent, I think then we can start really engaging the community in a way that's never been done before. Why not use this? Why stick to one idea? Why not use this to make a more community-centric news organization that includes everybody's life changes as it happens?
Dakota Hunter, his life changes quite a bit. He's coming up next with a look at our forecast. Dakota, I hope that there's good news on the horizon. We'll see.
It could be.
The weather is heating up, and so are the deals at Express Bike and Auto, right here in Jamestown, located at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension. They are your one-stop shop for all of your vehicle, ATV, and motorcycle needs. They even sell vehicles, and guess what? Financing is available. So what are you waiting for? Get to Express Bike and Auto right here in Jamestown at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
Hey, you see me finally. Welcome back to News Now. Let's kick off this weather segment with the Sky Vision Camera Network. Now, I've tilted the camera down a little bit because I want you to see that little tree right here. Let me step back on the key wall. This little tree right here down by the lake. You can see how it's kind of whipping up there with the north-northeast winds of 14 miles per hour there at Chautauqua Lake. On to the main graphics, and we'll break down the forecast for pretty much this afternoon, since we're past noon. 74 to 78 is the, is the high temp range. Partly to mostly sunny, cooler and more comfortable. Less humidity is going to be in the air, so it's going to feel great with that north wind of around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Justin mentioned it earlier. This is some storm damage from those line of storms that came in, and this was ultimately what we were expecting. This was wind damage that occurred with that line of severe storms that came through. And of course, our wonderful Justin went out and took these pictures last night after the storms came through. That's a tree on somebody's house. That's disturbing. And there's just another view of it. Now, fortunately, I don't believe anybody was injured, right, Justin?
Nope, everyone was okay.
When a tree is uprooted like that, how strong or do winds have to whip to actually take the tree out of the ground?
Well, it actually depends, because it all depends on how soggy the ground was. If the ground was more soggy, it doesn't take as much wind to actually topple trees. But again, the winds actually were a little bit gusty in this as well. And again, here's just another view of that as well. So this was mostly what we seen was mostly tree damage yesterday, and this was just related to the strong winds that came with that line of storms. There's a a BPU truck out there working, and this came in on Facebook this morning. Tree on a house, and not entirely sure where this was, but this actually came on our Facebook page this morning. I checked it this morning, and so you can see a tree hanging on the power lines as well. So
that's along Willard Street too.
Call Kirk Mayberry. I think he can help you with that.
Kirk. Oh yeah, if you're not insured, you're going to want to be.
Kirk,
exactly. And of course, if you have any photos or videos you'd like to send of us, that's why we call you our weather eyes. You help us see what goes on in the world. Hunters WX on Facebook and Twitter is how you do it. Now, I was actually able to capture this off our radar system. This is the line of storms as it came on through. So let me put this in motion. That's that severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. Night? Now, take a look at this. Let me step on this side of the wall. You can see here, I'm going to stop it here. Notice how the line has bowed out. It kind of looks like an archery bow. We call this this is basically a bow echo. And essentially what's happening here is the winds is forcing this line of storms to bow out. And when it bows, that's a great indication that there could be some downburst winds, or what we call straight line winds. And that's exactly where a lot of this damage was occurred of. Somebody asked if there was a tornado yesterday. No tornado. It was result to this bow in the line segment that caused all that wind. So when you see a bow like that on radar, that's a good indication that there could be some strong damaging straight line winds. Live look outside. Current temperature 68 degrees, much more comfortable with a northeast wind of 15. Feels like 68, so it's not as sticky as it was yesterday. We topped out at 86 degrees, and I mentioned yesterday if we hit 91, that would break the record. Well, we'll tie the record, but we didn't tie the record or break it. We fell just a little bit short because of the rain, but still very, very muggy. I bottomed out at 62 last night. Record for today is 85, and we picked up 0.37 inches of rain officially at the Jamestown Airport. That's in that rain bucket at the weather observation station. Nothing on Doppler. It is nice and clear out there today, but the radar will begin a little bit more active as we go throughout the night into tomorrow. Let's take you through that here on Future Scan. This is about 6 o'clock tonight. You can see a band of showers will be moving through. Nothing big here. And then as we go into the late night hours going into tomorrow, there's going to be a few more showers and maybe a thunder bumper in here as well. And then this is early tomorrow morning. A patch of maybe heavier rain may push in. Not out of the question, a few heavier downpours. Not a big deal out of that. Nothing severe. And then as we go throughout the early afternoon, the rain will continue, and then it'll hightail out of here for late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, giving us a beautiful Thursday. So zone by zone for tomorrow, we'll take a look at the temperatures, and the temperatures are going to go up just a couple of degrees. But the good news here is that the humidity will stay down. Maybe a few breaks of sun could be possible in the rain breaks, but don't count on that, with a northeast wind of around 5 to 10 miles per hour. The next 7 days of your food-filled life, guys, over at the Anchor Desk, brought to you by Quick Solutions. 77 full sunshine on Thursday. The humidity stays down still, and it looks like we don't rehumidify until we get into the weekend with a few scattered showers and storms. And take a look at Monday, 74 degrees with low humidity. Oh, feeling good.
Where's the other 3 days?
7 days, people. 7 days.
Poor D. more of new and noteworthy right after this.
The Fitness Bunker in Lakewood is a locally owned and operated club that cares about your health and wellness. They invest in it. Right now, $16 for 16 days will get you in the door. Lose 4 pounds, your next month is on them. Try a green zone class and maximize your performance. Hot yoga, 24/7 access. Simply walk into Fitness Bunker in Lakewood right now on Summit Avenue. Make an investment in your health and wellness. Fitness Bunker in Lakewood. Find them on Facebook.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333. First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com.
And welcome back to New and Noteworthy. It's your favorite quartet. Quartet's 4, right?
Yeah.
We have lunch.
Pretzel.
I don't eat on the
Those
air
aren't brass knuckles.
No, those are pretzels. Those are more dangerous than brass knuckles.
I think so. Let me see.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
he just broke it.
Although I have something the guys at the anchor desk probably don't have.
What do you have?
I have peanut M&Ms.
Ooh,
you know what? But
I don't
nobody
have
has. Nobody has what Dining with Donna has.
No, I know. Donna.
Oh.
That's what we could do. Donna could bring us food every day.
Donna, your fish fry is a serious fish fry.
I don't know. These cookies are the bomb.
I think
I got these for my birthday. Just the best.
You know when a
I'm
cat
gonna say
rubs on you and their tail gets really fat because they're satisfied or content?
Yeah.
I feel like if I was in Matt's position, my tail would be fat. I'd be rubbing up against the computer.
Sometimes when their tails are fat, they're angry too. You have to be careful. It depends. If their tails get really puffy and like sticking straight up, it usually means they're pissed.
So
don't pet
I have
them.
a quick observation from the world of the internet. Today, a guy named DeAndre Ayton is great basketball player from Arizona. You may have remembered the name because he was immersed in an FBI scandal.
Correct.
That rocked college basketball. Well, he worked out for the Phoenix Suns, and believe me, I have a point here. And they were asking him, do you think you'll go number one? He's like, there's no thinking about this. I'm going number one. And you take a guy like that, he's like 18 or 19, just signed a deal with Puma, and Jay-Z just took over as the chairperson of the division of Puma basketball. What I'm trying to say is this. You know, those who exude confidence are the ones that achieve, right? And it's not that hard to get confident about something as long as you know that what you're doing, whatever you're doing, whether you're a criminal or a weatherman or a newsman or a janitor, sometimes they're all one and the same. As long as you know that you can compete with anybody or, you know, walk the walk with anybody.
Right.
And in news, it's kind of like the same thing. Like we started off as the little kid, but now we have problems like identity crisis. And this is not really a problem as much as it is a fork in the road.
Yeah.
We've come to a fork in the road because we want to be different. We think you deserve something different. And now what we're asking you to
tell us is, what do you think? So
be confident in your life is what I'm telling you.
Do you want to engage every day on News Now? Do you want us to read?
Or do you want another press release about Governor Cuomo?
Yeah, let us know,
Huh.
and we'll figure it out. And in the meantime, we'll just keep doing what we do.
Yeah, because you know TMZ kind of started this format, but there are other formats like that. Howard Stern, I bet when Howard Stern first started talking about like his wife not having sex with him every day, I bet that really like kind of bothered her, right?
Right, and probably him a little bit too. I mean, that's awkward to talk about.
It is awkward to talk about, but it's something everybody thinks about. Like we just want to talk about what other people are not saying, if that makes sense, without getting into trouble.
Right.
And losing all our sponsors.
Right. We don't want to lose our
sponsors. No, we love our sponsors. We love our advertisers. Big shout out to Fitness Bunker. Mm-hmm. Tori just got off vacation, and I suggest, like, if you're looking to lose the flab.
Right. Summertime, best time to work out.
Fitness Bunker. Aren't you sick of looking like
me?
Gross.
Like Dakota.
Gross with the tank top.
Dakota,
Jeez,
you
get to the Fitness Bunker right now.
And
then go see my girl at the main landing.
Donna Germain.
We love you.
You can work out and then eat all you want.
Just make sure you eat a salad.
Right.
Because Donna has the best salad.
She does.
Make sure you sit on the porch.
She's got healthy. Lots of healthy. That's it for us today. We'll be back here tomorrow. Be sure to join us at that point, because then we'll talk to you and we'll talk about all the news. And of course, news is all the time. It's at WNYNewsNow.com.
1 o'clock, it's going down.
Oh yeah, watch live, 1 o'clock today. Big announcement from police. We'll be there. Can I have my pretzels back now?